We've been testing. How has it gone?
Been great.
I was trying to...
Sorry.
I was trying to...
It's just that you nailed it first time, and I was like, oh, I'm shit. Hello and welcome to Formula First TV, brought to you by CMS Ltd. For exclusive coverage of the Haiku Components New Zealand Formula First Championship. We're here for round 6 at a sodden Hampton Downs Motorsport Park. And Jonathan, our local Formula First expert, well, it's getting sort of down to the business end of this championship, isn't it?
Yeah, we're at the crucial final stages. These are the races you've got to make count, because any mistakes from here on out are going to be hugely costly.
And of course, with the championship being relatively close, with a 76-point lead for Reece Hendl-Cox, and obviously the Rookie of the Year title close as well, everyone will be looking to try and make gains at this track.
Yeah, it's about probably not making mistakes still. You've got to keep making these inroads, but making sure you don't drop any points, because they're very crucial at this stage of the championship.
And of course, looking at these championships, you'd say Chris Simon's kind of got a little bit of a momentum swing here with the win in the wet, and with possible dodgy skies this weekend.
Yeah, well, we actually had a test session yesterday in the wet that some people described as a waste of time, and it actually proved to be quite valuable to this morning qualifying, as we had a wet qualifying session. But back to Chris, yeah, he proved at Manfield that the wet weather is probably his forte, and he should hopefully be looking to exploit that this afternoon.
Yes, and obviously qualifying this morning, it was a little bit damp.
Yeah, well, it was quite damp. We sort of woke up this morning, the track was damp, but there was no really rain hanging around, and then about 20 minutes before qualifying, rain band came through, and it's been wet ever since.
Yes, and it was not really the typical qualifying where it's all about drafting or that. It was sort of do a good lap, and maybe if you pick up a draft up the front straight, well, then you've done a good job.
Yeah, they all sort of just went out by themselves and found their own spot, and as you say, tried to pick one up, and we had a red flag with about 5 minutes to go, and I mean, everybody bunched up, but nobody could really capitalise on being in a bunch on that last lap.
And of course it was young Thomas Boniface, the number 67 car Rookie of the Year leader at the moment, and he whacked it on pole.
Yeah, well, he certainly carried over his form from Manfield in that wet race. As you'll remember, he drove from probably about mid-pack up to second or third it was, second, at the end of that race. And so he's certainly carried that form in. And interestingly enough, this is the third year in a row that we've had a rookie on pole for their first poles at Hampton Downs.
That's a great fact, Jonathan. And here is our pole position winner by over half a second, Thomas Boniface.
Well, I thought it was just important that not make any mistakes and make sure that I do every lap as clean as possible. Dad set up the car really well, and I just made sure that I kept my head down and did what was possible. Big thanks to my 500 club, and yeah, we'll look forward to the race and see how it goes.
And so race 16 of the championship here at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park under, Jonathan, some fine weather.
Yeah, the sun finally came out, and I guess it just goes to show that you should really test in all conditions at all times, because you never know what you're going to get on race day. Yeah,
so a nice clean and concise start from everybody, and there was a bit of a group at the front, but eventually it was our two championship protagonists, Chris Simon and Reece Hendl-Cox, that got away from them.
Yeah, there was a group of 6 at the front, and they came across the line the first couple of laps and spread out and fanned out and fought for the positions. But unfortunately, on about lap 3, there was a bit of an incident, and that caused the field to dissect apart, and the two of Chris Simon and Reece Hendl-Cox got the break that they needed to just sort of duke it out to the line. Yeah,
it sort of left those two way out in front, and Liam Foster playing catch-up all by himself, and then Amy Smith and Ronan Murphy fighting it out for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, I mean, while the eyes were mainly on the front too, because that was where the action was, probably the big action of the race was actually the battle for 7th. And that involved, all our usual guys who were always just quiet there, and that was our Sunset Award winners or competitors of Bob Dillo, who's shown fine form against Ron Carter. And then we had some of our rookies in there, our Flynn Mullinies and Kyan Davey, and also Nathan Sidiano was in there battling it out.
Yes, it was a great little battle pack there, and unfortunately Kyan Davey ended up having gearbox problems and got stuck in gear heading out of one of the hairpins, and so he pulled out. But probably a major talking point of the race was the retirement of Thomas Boniface.
Yeah, they had a clutch issue. They when the field all sort of split up, it all happened all at once, and he came out of the first hairpin and just had no drive. The clutch got stuck on. But I was talking to his father, Thomas Boniface, earlier, and he's been able to get that sold, and they reckon they'll be right tomorrow.
Yeah, very good. Which means that the Ronan Murphy Thomas Boniface Rookie of the Year battle has just swapped places for the time being. So we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the weekend. But to hear from our race 16 winner, Here's Reece Hendl-Cox.
Yeah, we obviously got a bit lucky in it, but we've got some speed back after the last round at Manfield, so happy.
And race 17 of the championship here at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park. In the middle of the day, Jonathan, a little bit different to yesterday, bit of heat, and the racing was just as hot.
Yeah, it's been bloody warm here today. We woke up this morning and I was cruising around in my singlet, it was that warm. So certainly different conditions to what we had yesterday.
Yeah, so they got off to a relatively clean start, and it was Chris Simon who made the initial jump and took over the lead of the race until they all got to sort of turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, like usual into the hairpin, everybody sort of bunches up and they all try and make their moves, and the race sort of settled down, but unfortunately on lap 2 we had a safety car.
Yeah, and it was young Thomas Boniface. Unfortunately ran wide at turn 1, which looks like it may have caused a little bit of damage to the steering on that car, and then unfortunately he's gone off into the sand trap at turn 3 under power, and just couldn't quite make it out, obviously due to the steering issue.
Yeah, the sand traps here are very good, and we quite often see when cars get in, they don't come out. So it's good, obviously, for safety if they're going too fast, but it's unfortunate that we had the interruption of the safety car.
And yeah, so that bunched the field back up, obviously, and then we were set out for another battle for first through fourth.
Yeah, the first three appeared to have quite a good break over Chris Simon, who restarted in 4th position, but he was quickly back on them and made a move into the first hairpin, and resulted in a little bit of contact with Billy Fraser, but they both managed to get away with it.
Yeah, so it was really all on for young and old coming out of the first hairpin and into the second, but that sort of broke the pack up, and it ended up being Reece Hendl-Cox sort of taking a bit of an advantage over the other three.
Yeah, he managed to make that break early on in the race and sort of just set off, and those other three sort of battled it out to the line. Yeah,
so it really was interesting race from those three, trying to get that second spot on the podium between Fraser, Foster and Chris Simon.
Yeah.
But through the rest of the pack it was sort of nothing really happened, but the two old guys in the Sunset Award, they thought they'd have their own coming together.
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of maturity from those guys, as you would imagine, and all of a sudden I'm not too sure what happened. I haven't spoken to either guys, but they ended up coming together and parked together in the first hairpin on lap 1, but they managed to resolve, and of course they took advantage of the safety car. That really helped them because that brought them from the back of the pack and they got back to the mid-pack.
Yeah, so it was really good to see from them, and then but in the end our race 17 winner was Reece Hendl-Cox. Race 18 of the championship here at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park under sunny skies and a lovely Sunday afternoon. And Jonathan, it was an absolute ripper start from Chris Simon.
Yeah, he really asserted his dominance off the start line in that race and managed to gap the field on the first lap. So he was looking good from there, but of course, as per usual, the race panned out and the field closed back up and they battled it out. Yeah,
so it was actually almost looking like a five-way fight with Amy Smith tagging onto the guys up front there. But she was dropped off, and then it was a four-way fight.
Yeah, those four managed just to eke away from her, and behind Amy Smith was sort of in a bit of no man's land. Thomas Boniface was in a bit of no man's land, and Ronan Murphy was in a bit of no man's land. Eventually he got caught up by the battling pack that included our Sunset Award drivers, Ron Carter and Bob Dillo, who managed to not hit each other on the first lap this time.
Yeah, so it's great from them racing cleanly this time, and at the end it was Reece Hendl-Cox that actually sort of drove away from them.
Yeah, he managed just to make a bit of a gap towards the end, and he was quite comfortably across the line.
But something that interesting that happened on the last lap there, young Thomas Boniface snapped a stub axle coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, it was quite spectacular. Just as he came down the dipper into the second hairpin, he just ran off into the grass, and there was a tyre bouncing along, and you know what the young man did? He plucked first gear and he carried on. Dragged it across the line, sparks and all. Fantastic.
To be fair, it looked like it handled the straight quite well with 3 wheels.
Well, it was quite good that it was the right hand, and he only had a couple of right-handers to go, so she was all hanging on the left wheel, so it was all good.
Yeah, so well done. Great work from Thomas Boniface there, and someone who was in the heat of the battle for the race 18 of the championship is our young man, Billy Fraser.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hard weekend this weekend, but it was, like you said, it was great to get a podium in the final race. Race 3, it was tough battling at the front, but it was caught the pack at the end, so it was great to get the podium finished. And a big thank you to BPM Barry at BPM Truck, Bailey's, Neil Orput Motorsport, Waitomo Fuel, Carter's Tyre Service, Aerosure, and I Sign It. So yeah, just thanks, big thanks to those guys for their continued support.
And now moving on to the CMS Hard Charger Award for the round 6 of the championship here at Hampton Downs. Jonathan, I believe you've got a very deserving winner.
Yeah, we're going to give it to Rob Baker for this round. He's turned up to every meeting so far, and he's been racing away at the back. But I tell you what, he's actually bridged the gap, and he's in the race now. So he's out there battling with other people. So it's fantastic to see a guy come into our class and just give it a go, progressively steady, and he's managed to, step it up each and every round. So it's fantastic to see from him.
Yes, well done, and well done to Rob, and it's great to see definitely the sort of amateurs coming along and doing a really good job. Now moving on to the championships, our Sunset Driver Award, Ron Carter, sorry, I'm getting all these R names mixed up. Ron Carter, he extends his lead over Bob Dillow.
Yeah, once again, another solid weekend from Ron. He had a bit of a challenge from Bob this weekend, though. He was sort of battling together. But as you say, he's still got a clear lead in that championship.
Yeah, you would almost say he was hot, steady and strong over the weekend, but on the track he wasn't too bad either. And our Rookie of the Year title, well, that's changed hands at the moment.
Yeah, young Thomas Boniface started off the weekend in a fantastic position, on pole position, and unfortunately for him went all downhill from there, and he ended up with two DNFs and down the back with that wheel problem in the last race. So Ronan Murphy's managed to take a bit of a commanding lead in that championship, but with 2 rounds to go, the track that neither of them have been to, it's going to be anybody's game in the last 2 rounds of Taupo.
Yeah, as you say, Thomas has had a bit of experience there in different cars, but these cars are very different to drive, and we know that it could all play out completely different at Taupo. But the championship, well, Reece Hendl-Cox has sort of extended his lead a little bit.
Yeah, he's done exactly what he did when we were here in January. He won all 3 races. Chris Simon managed to finish second in all 3 races in his own car this time. So clearly there's not much difference between the old Chris Simon mobile and the Brodie McConkie mobile in Chris Simon's hands.
Yeah, so well done on Chris there for getting the 3 seconds again. But Reece Hendl-Cox, our round winner for round 6 here at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park.
The round was obviously good. We've got good speed at Hampton Downs, so hopefully we can follow that through into Taupo, and we've got 6 races to go.
And so we're really now getting down to the end of the championship here with 2 rounds to go, Jonathan, and they're both at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. Yeah,
which is fantastic for us, being based in Palmerston North. Of course, we don't have a 6-hour trip home afterwards, so that's good. It's a good start to the weekend for us. But yeah, Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park, the form guide says Chris Simon. But Reece Hendl-Cox, with the form he's showing, I think he might still be in the box seat for this championship.
As I say, we're going a bit more into autumn. Weather could play a part. We know Chris Simon loves Taupo. He loves the wet weather.
Yep.
Anything can happen, and it's the same with the rookie guys. With Ronan Murphy and Thomas Boniface.
Yeah, as we talked about before, the inexperience of those guys. So they've been in the cars enough now. Both of them done the Winter Series now, so they're up to round 10 of the championship that they've been in the cars. So I'm sure they'll adapt quickly and it'll be no hassle, and it'll just be back to usual Formula First racing in Taupo style with the big dives into the chase.
Yes, and thank you, Jonathan, for this weekend. I'm sure we'll drag you out again at the last 2 rounds at Taupo, and from all of us here at Formula First TV, make sure you get to Taupo for the big unknown, as we haven't been there this year, and Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. See you there.